Hello and welcome to the In the Pen podcast, a podcast about relievers, part of the Pitcher List Podcast Network. My name is Jake Crumpler, and as always, I'm joined by Pitcher List's bullpen expert, Rick Graham. And once again, I'm totally unprepared with a question to open the podcast. How are you feeling, Rick? How are you feeling inside of your body?
This body's seen better days, but we're plugging along. We're hanging in there. It's too early in the season to be tired and to be fatigued from the
Yes.
all these injuries we've already had. But hey, fantasy baseball is a grind. We all know that. So just got to plug away and battle through the little nicks and knacks or whatever they call it. So yeah,
Totally. Yeah. Well, I can totally relate to having a body that doesn't feel as it used to be. I know I'm only 27,
you're
but still,
20. Yeah, what?
it's getting there, man. It's getting there. I don't work out ever. I have extracurricular activities that aren't great for my health. I could definitely be more healthy, eat healthier, but at 27, I'm like, I have enough forgiveness from my body that I'm like, oh, well, it's fine right now. I'm sure at some point I'm going to have to figure things out in that regard, but I think I got a few years to go. But
Yeah.
we're not here to talk about our bodies. We're here to talk about relief pitchers' bodies and most importantly, what pitches they're throwing. Today, we're going to be obviously running through the injuries and transactions from the past week. We'll then head into the 3 up, 3 down section where we discuss the changes on Rick's closer ranks. And then we'll head into our main topic as we discuss the early season Stuff Plus and PLV leaders. We'll start things off with the injuries, though. Got to kick things off with the bad news, as always. And the first guy we got is Ben Joyce, who was placed on the 15-day IL with shoulder inflammation. Michael Darrell Hicks was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move by the Angels. But Ben Joyce was the top setup man in Anaheim before this injury. And now it looks like maybe Ryan Zephyr-John and Brock Burke can have that righty-lefty platoon setup role in Los Angeles. Is that how you're seeing things working out with Ben Joyce on the IL?
Yeah, that seems to be the way that they're going about it, and it makes sense. I mean, Zephyr-John's looked really great so far. Even before the injury to Joyce, I think Zephyr-John was pitching better and probably working his way more into that role. And then Burke, yep. I mean, Burke struggled a little bit this year, but he was, he had a really good second half with LA last year, so they're not going to give up on him yet. Yeah, it's a solid 1-2 punch behind Kenley Jansen, but obviously Ben Joyce and Robert Stevenson, those two guys being on the IL, when they're healthy, will definitely change things there. I haven't seen it. It feels like it was a month ago when Joyce got hurt. It just feels forever, but I haven't seen any updates really on him, and I'm sure they're going to be really careful with him coming back because, yeah, like. He's had obviously the injury history there is extensive, and they're not. He's still young enough where they're not going to rush him back for any reason.
Totally. Yeah, I would be very surprised if Ben Joyce is activated prior to the start of May. I would expect them to take it easy on him, especially if they think they're going to be competitive. You definitely want to have Ben Joyce available in the second half of the season and in the playoffs. So I agree. I think the Angels are going to take it easy on Ben Joyce with this shoulder injury. So he'll probably be back in May. But as we mentioned, Ryan Zephyr-John and Brock Burke, the top options for holds in Los Angeles. Next, we have Hunter Harvey, who was placed on the 15-day IL with a grade 1 teres major strain. He will be reevaluated next Tuesday, and at that point, he could begin throwing. Steven Cruz was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move, but it looks like with Hunter Harvey out, Daniel Lynch IV and John Schreiber are going to have a platoon in a secondary setup role to Lucas Erceg.
Yeah. Again, this bullpen's kind of behind Erceg and I guess Estevez decimated at this point. It's really Harvey was pitching well despite there was a diminished velo that was noticeable, and I was like, it's working. He's able to pitch through it. He's doing, the results are there. But obviously there was something more behind the curtain, and grade 1 seems, I think that's not like a month, I don't think that's like multiple months. So I think he should be back by June. But yeah,
even sooner with Harvey, they said they were reevaluating him next week. It's possible he returns before the end of the month.
I mean, so that's good because I don't trust John Schreiber anymore. Lynch is solid from the left side, but yeah, it's really like when you getting the ball to Ursig is a big deal, or getting the ball to whoever the eighth inning, ninth inning guy is going to be. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I did see some like rumors about them possibly being in, and David Robertson. That seems like a team that makes sense for.
He's still not signed.
He's
Wow, I
still,
forgot
yeah,
about him.
we haven't we haven't talked about him yet, and
Wow.
I know I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, it's some team. I don't know if it's money or if he just wants the right fit, maybe, or maybe he just wants to like sign with the Dodgers in July just for like a little, like
Yeah.
kind of, you know how like NBA, like those veterans in the NBA, like they did the buyout and then they just latch on to whatever team's like really good.
Iguodala was doing that, wasn't he,
Yeah,
like, the last
Iguodala.
couple
Yeah,
years?
maybe that's what Robertson's looking for. I don't know at this point because he's definitely good enough to be signed by pretty much
Yeah.
any team should be interested in him. So
Mhm.
we'll see what plays out there. But yeah, Royals are one of those teams that could definitely use some help.
I'm glad they've been using Lynch out of the bullpen because I know
Yeah.
in spring we were concerned with both Bubich and
Mm.
Lynch possibly heading to the rotation. We know Bubich headed the rotation, and that's working out well, so we're fine with that. But I'm glad Lynch got to stick in the bullpen because he never really panned out as a starter. I didn't really see how that was going to work out, and he's still having a lot of success in the bullpen. Not as many strikeouts as we saw last year, but a pristine ERA through his first 9 innings. So pretty good start to the season for Daniel
Yeah.
Lynch. He should get more holds at least for the next couple of weeks.
He's their
Our,
best lefty. He's better than Angel Zerpa. So yeah,
oh,
he
for
should.
sure.
Yeah.
All right. Our last transaction involves Eli Morgan, who was placed on the 15-day IL with an elbow impingement. This one's not super fantasy relevant. However, it did result in a lot of shifting around of that Cubs bullpen. With Morgan heading to the IL, Nate Pearson was also optioned to the minors. And so to replace them both, the Cubs recalled both Luke Little and Daniel Palencia to pitch out of that bullpen. I don't think they're going to be guys that are, put right into high leverage hold situations. But both of these guys displayed the ability last year to be
Yeah.
legit high leverage arms, especially Luke Little from the left side. So I'm pretty pumped to see these guys get more opportunities in Chicago. What kind of fantasy relevance do you think these guys have, or do you think these moves have in Chicago?
Well, this is another bullpen that like David Robertson should be there by now. I don't know. Like it's there's Nate Pearson was their seventh inning guy like last week, and like there's just no one now. They're Julian Merriweather is their seventh inning guy. I don't know Julian, uh, but like he's not the same Julian Merriweather we've come like we're used to, or like 2 years ago when he had a 30% strikeout rate. He's down 2 miles per hour still. He's getting it the job done, but he's not, not the same swing and miss guy. So he's your seventh inning guy. So I feel like Palencia, he's 25 now. Maybe now's the time for him to kind of break out. Obviously the stuff's electric. It's just it's similar to, and they gave up on Jeremiah Estrada too early, and I was, hopefully Palencia can, maybe make a switch or something and be that guy. He's looked good so far in 2 games, but I don't know. I don't see anything technically different in his repertoire, but it's really about throwing strikes and just being consistent with him. So, I mean, the stuff plays. It's just, you know, consistency. So Palencia is really intriguing. Same with Little too. Little's, more upside there than Caleb Thielbar from the left side. These guys should both be. They're a little bit more of a, upside plays for the Cubs bullpen that really needed a shot of like talent in there. So that's what
Mhm.
Palencia and Little give them.
Totally. Yep. All right. That will wrap up our injuries. Now we can move over to the transactions. First, we've got Jesus Tinoco, who was activated from the 15-day IL. He'd been out for the last couple of weeks with a lower back strain. Tinoco's return will muddy up the late innings in Miami. Right now, it looks like Calvin Fauché and Anthony Bender are sharing ninth inning opportunities. So I think Tinoco is likely to share the secondary setup role with Ronnie Henriquez, who's gotten off to a really good start. And then it looks like Bacher, which I think we learned last week.
Balker.
Blake Bacher and Anthony Veneciano seem to be rising in that bullpen as well. Roster Resource likes both of them. They've had pretty good starts to the season. Veneciano's the only lefty in Miami, and Bacher's gotten off to a really good start. 1.80 ERA, just not a lot of strikeouts. So this bullpen has a lot of options, and they're sort of all fighting with each other for fantasy relevance.
Yeah, there's nothing that sticks out here as like, oh, that guy's gonna run away with the job. Even, I Fauché, Bender, and Tinoco, I don't love either one of them. Like Balker. I want to believe, but I don't know. The fastball's got some good metrics, but I'm not sure if there's enough swing and miss there. It's really it's a really messy situation right now, and it doesn't look like we'll get to it more in the 3 up, 3 down. But it doesn't look like Anthony Bender is the closer there, like we might have thought he could have been. Faucher's been getting some chances, and Bender's been used in different situations. So, it's like kind of like that Tigers bullpen where there's some okay arms, but no one that sticks out as like, oh, I really want to take a chance on rostering him and seeing how things play out. It's if you're in a deeper league 15 teamer, you could take a chance on Bender or Faucher or Tinoco or Bakar or Balker, Veneziano, even because I like Veneziano's their one lefty. He's been pitching well, and maybe he's being the lefty gets some save vultures here and there. So I don't know. It's really more of a situation I'd probably stay away from at this point, but we'll see. Maybe Bender gets like 2 saves this weekend, and that changes everything.
Yeah. The only thing here is that there's so much opportunity, and that's why it's always hard with these bullpens where there's so few bullpens where there's opportunity for you to pick somebody up off the wire and get you some saves. So we focus on these terrible bullpens where it's super muddy. We don't know who's going to get the saves. The options aren't super enticing either, but you're sort of forced to go there because there's no other options. It's either that or you're picking up the third setup guy for a really good team who's never going to get saved. So it's definitely a conundrum there, but the Marlins bullpen is still unresolved. Next, we have Michael Fulmer. He had his contract selected from the minors. Looks like he's going to pitch in long relief from the Red Sox. I just wanted to mention him because we haven't seen him for a while, so it's cool to see him back pitching in the majors for the Red Sox. Did you get to watch him on what was that, Monday?
I didn't see him. I saw he did throw. And he might even, maybe get a spot start here and there before they get Bayo and Giolito back. Yeah, there he goes. But yeah, I'm probably not much of a role in this bullpen. It looks like they've settled on, Slayton and Whitlock getting the ball to Chapman, which is what it should be. And Weisert's looked good so far. Hopefully that can stick because he's always been intriguing. But yeah, other than that, they've stretched Fulmer out in AAA. So yeah, I don't know if if he wants to be a starter again or if that's just the team's decision, but I would be interested in seeing him as a reliever because we saw him have success. Like we never really saw him have success. Well, he had that 1 year where Nick was
his
like
rookie year.
Yeah, Nick was talking him up, and he was legit. And then all the injuries started happening, and it'd be nice to see him in shorter stints maybe, but that's probably not going to happen for anytime soon. It looks like.
Totally, at least in high leverage situations.
Yeah, no.
All right, that's Michael Fulmer. Next, we have Troy Taylor, who was activated from the 15-day IL by the Mariners. He had been out to start the season with a lat strain, and Taylor is a young reliever. He's got a lot of potential. He displayed some success last year as well in his debut, so I think he could quickly rise in this Mariners bullpen because it is completely depleted with Matt Brash on the IL, and now Gregory Santos heading to the minors. He was optioned to the minors. Totally makes sense. I was flabbergasted when I saw it, and then I checked out his page and I was no longer flabbergasted. I think he had 0 strikeouts and a lot of walks, and it was just not ideal.
I was gonna say like good. That was one of the best moves that the White Sox made, but they didn't really. They got back. What's his name? Who's missing the year? Baroa, Prelander Baroa, who's out for the year. But they got a good year out of Santos, and he has not been the same since. So. 0 strikeouts over 7 innings, man. That's not good. So yeah, he's got some things to figure out. It's still only 25 years old. The arm talent is there. It's just figuring it out with whatever he has to do with pitch mix wise or command wise. Taylor, don't be fooled by his first outing where he allowed 3 runs and didn't get an out. He's someone who grew on that bullpen last year and kind of by the end of the year was one of their, he was like their 6th, 7th inning guy, setup guy. So wouldn't put it past Troy Taylor working his way into a setup role. I know Matt Brash is coming back within like a month or so, but even still, it's really Gabe Spears, the only guy I would trust outside of Andres Munoz in this bullpen right now. So Taylor can definitely move his way up there.
Totally. Yeah, there's barely anybody in front of him. I also like Carlos Vargas there, but really only because he throws hard and
Yeah,
not as hard as he once did, but still interesting.
they're trusting him a lot more. He had a rough outing today, but he's someone that he's got 2 holds in the past week, so he's kind of worked his way into a setup role there.
Yeah, that's Carlos Vargas. But we were discussing Troy Taylor returning from the IL, and we mentioned that he could quickly rise up the Mariners bullpen. Next, we have Alexis Diaz, who was activated from the 15-day IL by the Reds. He had been out to start the season with a hamstring strain, and Terry Francona made sure to mention that he won't be the closer right away. He did get a hold in his first appearance, though. The control issues that were concerning over the last couple of years were apparent in his debut as he walked 2 of the first 3 batters he faced, though he was still able to walk away with a hold in that one. The Reds bullpen still up in the air. I mean, it looks like Emilio Pagan is the closer there. Tony Santillan doing everything he can to change that. But there are enough like solid guys who have had success in the past and this year that I think it's going to be difficult for Diaz to rise quickly in this bullpen. Like he's really going to have to pitch well because they've had success so far in the bullpen.
Yeah, and he wasn't looking good in his rehab stints, and he hasn't looked good. And it's been 2 outings, but he hasn't looked great so far. So yeah, I think he's probably for the foreseeable future stuck in that 5th inning role. I mean, his velo's even gone down even more. I don't know what to expect from him this year. It's a bullpen that there's definitely opportunity. But at the same time, there's a lot of guys that are probably just as good as him, and if not better. So I could see him not even being on the roster in July. I'm sure he's probably got options still. He might need some more minor league seasoning just to, I don't know, figure something out. But yeah, I think Ashcraft, Santillan, and Pagan are still way ahead of him, and even Ian Jabot's kind of worked his way back. Jabot isn't, we gave him, a lot of for his first outing, but he's been a pretty good reliever for them when healthy in the past. So he's a fine setup guy when he's right. So I mean Diaz we've seen just been very mediocre the last year and a half. Yeah, I don't see any reason and then Francona's right. There's no reason to even discuss him being part of the closer mix right now. He's way away from that.
Yep, that's Alexis Diaz returning from the IL. Probably going to be a while until he's got high leverage opportunities, and that's still far from guaranteed considering how he's pitched for the last couple of years and how he opened the season and how his minor league rehab since went. So not looking good for Alexis Diaz. I would not be picking him up. Definitely watch from afar. It's going to be a while until he reclaims that closer role. So you got some time to make a move there if that does eventually happen. Next, we have Mark Church, who was optioned to the minors by the Rangers. Jacob Latz was recalled from the minors in a corresponding move. The Rangers are sticking with Luke Jackson as the closer, but obviously we had hope that maybe Mark Church could come in there with his potential and become the early closer of the future. But the command issues were present in this one, in his early season debut. 26% walk rate to a 21% strikeout rate. So definitely not completely polished there for Mark Church on the control side. Do you expect him to come back at some point this year? And do you think this shakes up the bullpen at all? Or do you think it's going to be pretty, low, impactful?
Yeah, he wasn't doing much as far as, he wasn't getting many high leverage looks. They've been fairly consistent with Martin and Garcia getting the ball to Jackson, and in front of him, it's been Webb and Milner. So yeah, I think, Latz is just like, hey, you know what, we might as well get like a third lefty out here. So just give them another option. But I'd imagine Church is back. I mean, they have him, they have Teodo, who should both be impactful in the second half at some. I would imagine, again, like Luke Jackson, I don't think it's going to last forever. So they're going to have to either go outside the organization or look within to kind of piece together this bullpen as the season goes on, because it's not even just Luke Jackson. It's a pretty old bullpen on a lot of these guys are on like 1 year low dollar, deals for a reason, because there wasn't too much expectation. So it's working out great so far, but we'll see once we get into June, July, what's going on here.
Yep, that's the Rangers bullpen with Mark Church headed to the minors. And our last transaction involves Mike Clevenger, who was designated for assignment by the White Sox. Steven Wilson had his contract selected from the minors in a corresponding move. But I mean, not surprised at all. Mike Clevenger really struggled to start the season, even though he was basically handed the closer role. Never recorded one save. White Sox still without a team save. Roster resource suggests Jordan Leisure is going to be the closer with Clevenger in, I don't know, probably free agency.
He's
But
probably
I
never
don't.
going to pitch again.
That's probably fair. If you can't make it on the White Sox, I don't know where you're going to go. I mean, there's openings on my softball team, but we don't need pitchers. We don't.
You
need
also
pitchers,
don't want
man.
that type of dude on your softball team. But
that's true. That's true. But all that being said, it's very unclear who could close in Chicago, because they haven't had any saves. We have no indicators.
There's been not one save. It's even they have 4 wins, right? 5 wins. It's I mean, I feel like Michael Kopech had at least like 1 or 2 saves by this point last year. So it's I'm maybe it's the Red Sox biasy, but I do like Cam Boozer a lot. I don't know why they just kind of gave up on him. He's a lefty who throws in like 98. So I feel like if they were okay with a lefty closing out games, Boozer would make sense. Until the problem with Leisure is the walk rate. It's still a mess there. He's getting his whiff rate's at 41.5% right now, which is great. Like that was also missing last year, and that's why I'm like, this guy looks so good in the spring, and then games came around and he was not getting any swing and miss. So it's at least good to see him, miss bats right now, but there's still walk rate issues. I feel like him setting up Boozer would make the most sense, but how many saves does that get you? How many saves are the White Sox going to get this year? It's probably lucky to get someone with 10 saves here, I bet.
Yeah. Wow. Do you think Jordan Leisure is worth rostering in anything shallower than 15 team AL only?
I mean, AL only, yeah. I'll take a chance on Boozer and Leisure for now. 15 team Roto, maybe one of them. I mean, maybe like a spec if you're really desperate, a spec ad on one of them. I don't know. I'm not sure. Is the name Leisure like the closer? I know, like, because the roster resource does just have him listed. It's just kind of interesting. But I don't know what he's really done to earn it. It's, I guess, just the most talented of the group, but the most talented righty of the group, at least.
The only indicator I see is from April 6th.
He got a save chance.
Yeah, that's the only thing I think they're going off.
Maybe
of.
that's what
he
it is,
blew a save, so maybe
right.
He's the closer.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just a mess either way, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see them get their next save chance, how things play out.
Yep. All right. R.I.P. Mike Clevenger. But that'll wrap up our transactions and injuries section. Next, we'll head into the 3 up, 3 down section. But first, we're going to take a quick break here on In the Pen. And we're back. Jake Crumpler here with Rick Graham on In the Pen, discussing relievers. We're heading into our 3 up, 3 down section as we discuss the closers rising and falling on Rick's weekly closer ranks, which you can find over on pitcherlist.com. Rick, which day of the week do your closer ranks come out?
That would be on Tuesday. So, yeah.
All right. So check in to pitcherlist.com every Tuesday for Rick's updated closer ranks. Let's head into the 3 up, 3 down section now. We'll start it off with our risers and kick things off with Robert Suarez, who is leading baseball with 8 saves right now. He's had a great start to the season, 0 ERA through his first 9 appearances, 31% strikeout rate. Like I said, 8 saves to lead the major leagues. He's been leaning on his changeup some more as well. So everything that we really needed to see from Robert Suarez, like all the things we were concerned about are now no longer concerns, or maybe are less so from what we entered the season in. So incredible start to the season from Suarez, exactly what we wanted to see.
Yeah, just upping that changeup usage by 21%, dropping the 4-seamer by 23.4%. Yeah, it's like everything else has gone up as a result. With swinging strike rates up 5%, 5.3%, whiff rates up 11.7%, K rates up 13%. So yeah, we're seeing the results of him, mixing in that changeup more. And that's where, like, this is an actionable, like, we see the change. We can move. I feel more comfortable moving him up because it's different than what we were, different from what he was doing last year. So hopefully he keeps it up. I mean, it's a great situation as long as he's pitching this well. He's got Adam and Estrada easily getting him the ball in the ninth
Mhm.
if the Padres have a lead. So yeah, if Suarez stays healthy and stays in San Diego, this could be a guy who contends for the 40 plus saves, maybe that top save mark this year.
Yeah, and I know we were using Adam and Estrada as reasons to
Hmm.
hold Suarez down on our ranks because there was so much competition. But I think when a closer locks themselves in, like Suarez has early in
Yeah.
the season, and he has set up guys like that, it switches from being something that detracts from them to something
Hmm.
that helps them because now you're guaranteed to like hold the save opportunities that Suarez has. So those leads that the Padres have in the sixth inning are held all the way
Hmm.
through into the ninth because even outside of Jason Adam and Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejone's having an
Yeah.
incredible season. So is Yuki Matsui. So is Alec Jacobs. So is Wandy Peralta. Like
Yeah.
everybody's doing incredible in that bullpen. So all the leads are getting right to Suarez as they were. He's having, no problem locking those down. It doesn't matter what the lead is, but the rest of that bullpen is certainly helping him record all these save opportunities. So right now, Suarez in a great situation, not only with the changes that he's made, but also with the teammates that he's got surrounding him in that bullpen.
Yeah.
Next, we've got Kenley Jansen, who is the outright closer in Los Angeles for the Angels. He has a 0 ERA to start the season with a 30% strikeout rate across his first 6 appearances. Pretty cool to see. They're using him exclusively in save situations, which is also what you want to see for Kenley because he struggles mightily outside of them. So great start to the season from Kenley. Do you think this reduced usage is going to keep him healthy throughout the year and hopefully help him perform?
Yeah, I think this is like what this is probably what he signed up for. This is probably what he asked. He's like, "Hey, I'm literally here to get saves to add to my career total. Save chances only. Do not dare put me in some non-save
Yeah,
chances."
or I'm blowing the game.
Yeah, like honestly. And
Not
it's
even on purpose.
yeah, I know. Whatever that is, at least I mean, from a fantasy standpoint, it's what you want to see, right? It's should keep him in the top. He should be a top 20, finishes a top 20 closer at least, possibly top 15 if he can stay healthy. I know he's missed some time the past 2 seasons, but the stuff looks the same as it did last year. It's not, nothing has gotten worse, nothing's gotten better. It's still above average mix, and that cutter is still really good. So yeah, he should be just a steady. I'm trying to think of like who, like another veteran guy, like it's like better than Mark Melanson was, or I don't know, but he's just like a solid veteran guy who's just gonna get you saves and some strikeouts and won't destroy your ratios.
Totally. Yep. That's Kenley Jansen. Great start to the season so far for the Angels with a reduced role that is likely going to help him throughout the season. And our last riser is Luke Jackson, who continues to hold on to the closer role in Texas and has done so while continuing to find success. 3.38 ERA isn't amazing. 18% strikeout rate is not good. However, he's got 6 saves and he's getting the job done. That means that he's probably going to hold on to the role until he starts blowing saves because it doesn't look like Bruce Bochy's going to say, "Hey, look at the underlying metrics, Luke. You're not pitching in the ninth anymore." I think he's just going to keep riding him until his arm falls off or the Rangers start losing.
Yeah, I mean Bochy's just yeah, riding him. The ERA and WHIP are fine, 3.38, 1.13 WHIP. Obviously he's not gonna miss bat. He's not gonna be a huge strikeout guy. Which I'm concerned long term, but for now, it's Vargas rule it, right it while taught. PLV likes him a lot. I believe that's because of his curveball is really good, and his slider's also good. So he's really good against righties. We've talked about that. It's the fastball that's just terrible. So how long is he able to survive off the slider and curveball? You know, we'll see. But for now, it's might as well ride it and see how long it goes. He might get another save tonight. Texas is up by 1 again. They keep getting so many save chances for him. It's surprising. With that offense, I thought there'd be a little bit more, a
I
little
don't know.
bit
I
more
feel
high
like they've
powered.
historically been one of those teams that have really close games. Like if I
Yeah.
remember 2 or 3 years ago or something, the Rangers either did really well or didn't do well. I can't remember if it was the year they won the World Series or the year before, but they had a really good record in one run games. I think it was the year they won the World
I
Series.
think it
They
was.
just had an incredible record against in one run games, and it propelled a team that was maybe a little bit overperforming
Yeah.
from its base run record, but still led to a World Series. So that sort of backs everything up.
Very similar. I feel like a very similar setup with the bullpen, with like Luke Jackson kind of being the Will Smith, where Will Smith was like, remember how good Will Smith was the first 3 months of that season? He was great
Mhm.
for them, and then the wheels fell off eventually. But he got them to July, and they were able to piece it together from there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens this year, but the Rangers bullpen is working out so far.
Yeah.
So as those guys rise up the ranks, others need to fall to accommodate them. So let's discuss the guys falling down Rick's closer ranks. We'll start off with Trevor McGill, who has had, unfortunate start to the season, 4.76 ERA, but just not a lot of opportunities. He didn't pitch for a few days. I didn't know if that was something resulting from his blown save last week.
It's a knee injury.
Knee injury. That'll do it.
He had an MRI. Yeah, so he had an MRI on the knee, and it said that he was fine. And then he was seeking a second opinion, which I guess is back, and it says he's fine. I haven't heard anything about it, but it reminded me of that Devin Williams the back injury from last year, where the first MRI, the team MRI, said that Devin Williams' back was fine, and then he went and got a second opinion because he's like, no, this isn't fine, and it ended up being, more of an issue where he missed 3-4 months. So I am a little bit worried that the knee, because especially he's 6'8", 250. He's a big guy, as my cat is trying to get into the stream here. But
there we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great look for everyone. Hey, come on.
Wow, we just got the whole backside right in the camera. Wow.
We are professionals. All the 7 people watching that. Enjoy. But yeah, I mean, back to Trevor McGill. It's the 3 walks. So the story behind that is he I don't even think he was expecting to pitch that game. And yeah, the 3 walks were kind of just, I don't know, a result, I guess, of his knee injury. But either way, it's concerning that we're already, we're only not even a month into the season, and McGill's already got some lingering injuries going on. And he's never he's kind of like we talked about, the new Pete Fairbanks, where the stuff's electric when he's healthy, but we're probably not going to get 50 innings out of him. So, what does that open up the door for? Abner Uribe, who's looked really good, or Nick Mears, who's just came back, but Mears looks good so far. We'll see, but in NL and deeper leagues, I think those 2 guys are worth a stash. 15 team or NL only leagues, but yeah, McGill. We'll see how McGill reacts this next week and go from there.
Yeah, I think Uribe is definitely worth stashing at this point if McGill's dealing with an injury, because
85% ground ball rate right now.
Wow, and that's not even what I was going to say. Yeah. It's just the lack of walks. So
yeah, I know it's
Uribe's
down.
Finally, controlling the ball a little bit, and that ground ball rate's incredible. He's got a 2.07 xFIP right now. He is killing it. 1.04 ERA as well, and he's striking out guys over 30%.
His slider. He's like Brusdar Graterol with a swing and miss slider, though. Like that's where his slider's got like a 71% whiff rate right now. So
yeah,
it's really good stuff from Uribe. Hopefully that continues. It's the walk rate. If that walk rate stays under 10%, he'll be fine.
He'll be more than fine.
Yeah.
He'll be really good. All right. Our next faller is Edwin Diaz of the New York Mets. Has just 3 saves this season and a 6.75 ERA. What outside of those, apparent numbers has you concerned about Edwin Diaz?
I'm just trying to find a third person to put on the down list.
Sure.
And I just feel like we haven't talked much about Edwin Diaz because he's kind of up in that first tier, but it's obviously been a shaky start. Even there was that outing where the non-save situation that was just awful. That kind of brings down all of his numbers, but Even with it, I mean, the numbers aren't, the swing and miss isn't there like it usually is for Edwin Diaz. Strikeout rate's only at 29%. Obviously the walk rate at 16% is alarming. We're going to talk about like PLV a little bit later, and like PLV does not like anything that's going on with Edwin Diaz right now. 4.67, really low. It's 253rd. So I don't know. I know the velo's it looks down because of that one outing mostly, but it's not like he's throwing 90, 98, 99 again. He's still a little bit down, and I think he can survive with it, in the 97 range. But it's the slider for me that needs to be a little bit more consistent. So if he's going to be living 97, that slider, he needs to be able to, get over for strikes as well as get swings and misses with them. And right now it's only got a 35% zone rate with it. So little concerning of, what's going on right now with him. And we've seen Diaz bottom out in the past. We've seen him be unbelievable in the past. I'm not ready to call it one way or another, but I hope Diaz figures it out because he's one of my favorite, closers to watch.
Yeah, well, you're right to mention the velocity and to note that one outing where he really struggled is definitely bringing his season total down, because that was the first thing I noticed was the mile per hour drop in velocity.
It was like
But then I
92.
did,
Yeah.
he was down. He was down 2 miles per hour, I think, in that start, or in that outing. He was down to 94.7. So not great. And I'm sure he had some pitches that were getting dangerously close to that 90 number. But as you mentioned, I think the control is probably more concerning than the velocity, because you can expect the velocity to come back throughout the year, but control is something that,
Right.
you never really know. It could be an injury. It could just be like a mechanics thing, but we're looking at a 16% walk rate for a guy who has a career 8.8% walk rate. So somewhat concerning there. You mentioned the slider being unable to find the zone. He's not getting a lot of strikes with the fastball either, just 57% strike rate. Neither of his slider or his fastball is over 60% on the strike rate department. You got to have one pitch at 65 or higher, or you're just going to struggle. So with all of that, and then maybe his fastball's getting worse, then that's somewhat concerning. It is early in the season, though. We got to give him some time.
Yeah, closers like these top 1 or 2 tier closers, you got to give them at least a month. You got to get into May before you start, really thinking about what the move is there. So if you have Diaz, hang on to him. I don't think I would say go buy low, because there could be at the bottom could fall out, and I'm not sure what buying low even is at this point for Diaz. I'm sure whoever's rostering him wants a pretty good package for him. So I'd probably just hang on to him if I have him. Don't go shopping for him though.
All right. Now we'll wrap up this section discussing Anthony Bender, who looked like he was going to steal that closer role to start the season, with Jesus Sunoco on the IL and Calvin Fauché struggling. But then Bender had his own bad outing, and Calvin Fauché started to be entrusted with the 9th inning. So now it looks like they're battling each other. Each of Bender and Fauché have just one save, but it looks like Bender is going to have more competition than we thought, because it appeared as though he may be able to like sneak in there and then just run away with it for the whole year, but that's not going to be the case.
Yeah, and not even that. Not only just that, it's just been disappointing. He's got a really good ERA and WHIP. But the strikeout to walk rate right now, he's got a 10.7% K rate and a 14.3% walk rate. No. So whenever obviously negative's bad for that. So a 7.7% swinging strike rate. I don't know what, even coming back from, Tommy John last year, his sweeper was getting a lot more swing and miss. I don't know what's going on. And haven't dove in too deep on him. I'm wondering if it's a location thing or whatnot, but his stuff is just not fooling anyone. It's not doing anything. So Fauché is not someone I want to get excited about either. That's why when we talked about the Marlins, I just I kind of like Bacher, but I don't know if they're going to trust him over Tinoco, Fauché, or Bender, those guys who've been there before. So I'm just kind of out on, pretty much fully out on Bender. We'll see. Fauché's pitched better lately. Maybe he can get on a little run here and get some saves and kind of take the role, but I don't have a ton of faith in Fauché doing that.
Totally. Yeah, it looks like the problem with Bender's sweeper is that it's got less movement. The total
It's
break,
not
I think, is
sweeping.
yeah. Total break is down 2 inches. But really the location is the problem. You mentioned you didn't know if it was a movement or
Mm,
location thing. His high location percentage has risen 11%. So not
yeah,
where
that's
you
not what
want to
you
throw
want.
your sweeper.
No.
No.
Mm, yeah, I
So
mean, Fauché hasn't pitched much better either. Yeah, his bullpen's just maybe Tinoco can be good when he get some more outings in him. I don't know.
or maybe that Ronnie Henriquez call.
Yeah, I honestly at this point it's really up in the air. But
Mhm,
it's a team that they're not going to win a ton of games, but they're going to be winning close games when that rotation's ready, like healthy.
mhm.
They'll keep the bad offense, they'll keep them in games. So it's an important bullpen to kind of keep an eye on.
Totally. That's the Marlins bullpen, and that will wrap up our 3 up, 3 down section. To recap, the closers rising Rick's ranks were Robert Suarez, Kenley Jansen, and Luke Jackson, and the closers falling were Trevor McGill, Edwin Diaz, and Anthony Bender. Once again, if you'd like to go check out that article every Tuesday on pitcherlist.com, Rick's closer ranks. Next, we're going to move into our main topic as we discuss the Stuff Plus and PLV leaderboards. But first, we're going to take a quick break here on In the Pen. And we're back. Jake Crumpler here with Rick Graham on In the Pen discussing relievers. We are heading into our main topic as we're looking at the early season Stuff Plus and PLV leaderboards. This will give us a good idea of who's out there dealing the nastiest stuff. I think we just jump right into it. I think the top name on the Stuff Plus leaderboard and then second name on the PLV leaderboard, Mason Montgomery of the Rays. We talked about him a little bit in the past couple of weeks. Rick has been pumping him up a lot, honestly, because I didn't know a lot about Mason Montgomery, but since he's debuted, absolutely incredible stuff that he pumps out of that left arm.
Yeah, he's one of the guys on here where like the numbers back up the eye test because I mean I left you throwing 99 plus with 19 inches of IVB, and the one thing I would say is I would like to see the slider be a little bit more effective. It's fine. It's better than fine. It's really good, but I feel like the strikeout rate could improve, and it probably will improve over time because the stuff's just so good. And he's still only thrown 6 innings. He's kind of been the Rays kind of kept him slow played him, I guess, trying to keep him healthy for the whole season. So yeah, but you go to his player page and it's all red. He's second or third in like so many categories, and the stuff's just electric from the left side, and he will be a closer one day. And if you're in dynasty leagues, it's usually, you don't need to, focus on relievers typically, but like Montgomery's a guy who I just, whatever it takes to get Montgomery. It shouldn't take a lot yet, but the price is going to rise for him. So Montgomery's a guy I would be all over in dynasty leagues.
Totally. And what I like the most is that so far, as you mentioned, just 6 innings, but he hasn't walked anybody yet. So
No,
with that incredible stuff, he's able to at least get it near the zone.
and I know in the past, I think he's had some walk rate issues in the minors, but like you can tell he's confident in his stuff. He knows he just needs to just get it around the zone, just get it if you throw that 99-mile-per-hour fastball anywhere up in the zone, it's not going to get hit. And where he has gotten into troubles when that fastball has been down and out of the zone is where he let up 2 home runs. But yeah, as long as it's like top half of the zone, he's going to be almost impossible to hit.
Yeah. And I think I see who we can compare him to. And the name sort of goes really well there too. Mason Miller from the left
Yeah.
side, in my opinion. He's throwing 100 with an incredible slider. He's also got the MM initials and Mason as the first name.
Oh my God. Imagine those 2 guys in 8 years, or 8th and 9th inning guys. Oh my. Yeah.
Dodgers 2034.
That'd be probably gonna happen. The Rays and A's won't keep those guys, so
no.
But yeah, Mason Miller is left-handed Mason Miller is a pretty good comp.
Yeah. All right. Our next guy on the Stuff Plus leaderboard is Yohan Duran, number 2 at 126 Stuff Plus. Montgomery was at 133 and a 5.70 PLV. Yohan Duran, 126 Stuff Plus. He is not in the top 10 on PLV, though. His teammate Griffin Jax is. He's the leader. So that's pretty dope to have like the number 2 Stuff Plus guy and the number 1 PLV guy. And it's not even the same guy. You got them both in the same bullpen. So that's pretty dope. I love seeing Duran here because obviously he's still got great stuff, but it gives you a little bit of I don't know, solace that the early struggles or the slow start to the season is not a result of him losing stuff.
No, his stuff's it has gotten better, I think, by all metrics. Duran, it's just he's got 1 save because the Twins have been terrible, and he is not. He again, I mean, obviously there's a huge mental difference pitching in save situations versus non-save situations, and he just kind of like Diaz, like doesn't pitch well in non-save situations. So yeah, Duran's a guy you probably can look to buy low on, because people are, I mean, you see it all the time, people are super impatient at this point of this time of year. And it's like Duran can only control what he can control. He can't control how many save opportunities he gets, and the Twins aren't going to be they probably won't even win the AL Central, but they'll still give him enough save opportunities for him to get close to 30, 25 to 30 saves. So if he's only got 1 now, I mean, water will seek its level, and he'll eventually get to that, save mark that we all thought he would get to. So Yohan Duran, definitely someone to buy low on if teams are. I mean, I know I'm in a points league where he was dropped recently. I'm like, well, okay, sure. It is a 12 team points league.
Wow.
Someone's already given up on him. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I'm sure I'll take that. I'll put in a claim.
All day.
But yeah, I think with Jax is also interesting. PLV's always loved him. That's like, I think he was first last year too, by like a pretty good margin, because he grades out well above average with his sweeper, changeup, and 4-seamer. The changeup's been really good for him, especially this year. I know he's struggled this year, and I'm really not concerned about it at all because the stuff's still grading out so well. I think he'll be fine. He'll go on a dominant run eventually, but that changeup's really become a huge, like, the sweeper was always good for Griffin Jax, but that changeup's been like a difference maker for him. And yeah, the sweeper's great, and the 4-seamer's still really good too. So I know that's another guy people are kind of panicking on is Griffin Jax, but you should try to be patient in here too, because again, it's only 7 innings, and look, if you look at every other metric with Jax, I mean, swinging strike rates 20%, CSWs 37.8%. These are top 20 in the league right now. Only 2.7% walk rate. So it's just, he's getting really unlucky, and I think things will turn around for Jax moving forward.
Totally. Yeah. I always talk about how since he's moved to the bullpen, his fastball just gets better and better every year.
Yeah.
And usually we see that in velocity with him as he's increased the velocity on that pitch every single year of his career. However, this year, no increase, just 97.1. However, he didn't say that's going to stop me from improving my fastball because he added an inch of IVB to the pitch, and that improved its PLV mark pretty significantly. It's now in the top 2% in the league, according to PLV, among fastballs. He's throwing 97 with 16.5 inches of IVB and great HAVAA as well. So yeah, incredible stuff from Griffin Jax there. And that's just one of his incredible pitches. As you mentioned, the sweeper and the changeup are both really good. All right, that's the Twins bullpen, the top 2 guys there. I do love seeing Emmanuel Clase at number 3 on Stuff Plus. I don't think there's much to say about him. It's same exact situation as Duran, except maybe less competition. And Clase, I think, is even more locked in, and you can trust Stephen Vogt to use him normally, where you can't say the same about Rocco Baldelli. So I'm glad to see Clase there, still producing incredible Stuff Plus numbers. Jose Alvarado at 123. That's exciting.
Yeah, I mean, he's back to throwing 100 again. That's all it took is he lost like 2 miles per hour. He gained 2 miles per hour, then lost it last year, and then gained it back this offseason. And now he's back to the guy we were all excited for heading into last year. So 3rd best velo in baseball right now at 99.9 miles per hour, with a 39% strikeout rate. he's giving up some hits. It's been I've been watching his outings, and it's like frustrating because again he's a control guy, not a command guy. Like he's throwing the sinker and cutter, but he's trying to throw it over the plate, but he doesn't know where. He's not spotting it anywhere. So there's going to be some frustration with that. He's going to leave some pitches where they're going to be too hittable, and guys will just run into contact on him. But for the most part, if he can keep them guessing, it doesn't really matter. As long as it's around the zone, he's going to get swings and misses. So, yeah, exciting. He got another save tonight. He's up to 4 saves now. I know they used Strom the other day, so it's not like a full-time closer role for
Well, they
Alvarado.
used
But
Alvarado in the 8th against the top of the order.
That's what it's going to be. That's what it even was to start the season with Romano. It was just, Alvarado will pitch wherever the top of the order is, and they'll work around that. But I don't know. I mean, Matt Strom was really good too, so maybe things change throughout the year, and we'll see. It's a good start for Alvarado, obviously, for those who are able to scoop him up. Good, good on you, and keep it rolling. I know. He's starting to earn that $180 bid I put on him in the TGFBI. So
I had like 120 in our home league.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I'm worried that the velo is gonna just diminish over time, because he was throwing this hard in February 26th, in his first spring training outing. So it's like he's already between spring and now he's thrown like 20 something innings. So we'll keep an eye on how long it lasts, but Alvarado definitely, someone to be excited about for now.
That's right. Moving down the Stuff Plus leaderboards, we run by names like Alex Vesia, Tyler Rogers, Mason Miller, and then we get to Gabe Spear, who's certainly interesting. 30-year-old lefty reliever for the Mariners. He had success in 2023 with good strikeout rates, low walk rate, decent ERA as well. Last year really struggled, but he's back this year and producing pretty well. I mean, just to be that high in the Stuff Plus leaderboards is absolutely incredible. I think it has to do with the return of his fastball, which last year was awful according to PLV, but now it's back to being a really good pitch with good shape. And why is it ranked so well?
He gained another 2 miles per hour on it. So he was 95 in 2023, and then he was 93 last year, and now he's back up to 95.4. And I was really high on him as a setup guy, as a holds guy last year. Going into last season, I love Gabe Spear. And then like with someone I remember we talked about on the show when we were talking about velo changes, and he was one of the guys that had lost 2 miles per hour. And I'm like, he's probably not going to be able to survive. And he wasn't good last year. He wasn't able to, survive with the lower velo, but now he's back up. And he's just been dominating. I mean, 36% strikeout rate, no walks, just top 10 in like every category. PLV, he and Mason Montgomery are the only 2 guys in the top 10 in PLV and Stuff Plus right now. So
wow.
Yeah, this is the Spear from late 2023 that I was excited for last season. He's finally got that velo back, and it really gives. I mean, when they get Matt Brash back, if they can get like Matt Brash of old back, that Munoz, Brash, Spear trio
Taylor,
really, Taylor is like another
Vargas, it's a deep bullpen.
Yeah, it can be. I mean, Thornton even's fine. It's a changeup specialist, but yeah, they got pieces. I mean, Spear is really someone. I've been aggressively moving him up the holds list. I got him in the top 20 now. So, and his usage has been, what's he up to? 3 holds, but I mean, he's been used as the 8th inning guy for them. So he should be in line for 20 plus holds if he stays healthy and he's throwing 95 plus.
All right. Well, that's Gabe Spear. Absolutely incredible start to the season. Should definitely be rostered in Save Plus Holds leagues. He's back to being what he was in 2023. Next, I'd like to discuss Brendan Little, who's at a 121 Stuff Plus, putting him in the top 10 for the Blue Jays. Not many people probably are familiar with Brendan Little. Even I, not super familiar with him. All I know is that he is a ground ball machine. He was not anymore. Last year, he was one of the best at hitting ground balls, 73%. Now he's down to 50%. what are you seeing from Brendan Little that has him in the top 10 of Stuff Plus?
Yeah. So this is a little bit, I mean, not a little bit of a difference between Stuff Plus and PLV, but the sinker is really good, and yeah, typically a huge ground ball pitch for. I mean, the sinker's still a 55% ground ball pitch for him, but the curveball has been, I think, is where Stuff Plus and PLV kind of are at odds. But the curveball is, I mean, 32% swinging strike on the curve. So it's led to him having he's second in baseball with a 42.5 CSW and has a 40.5% K rate. And he's someone who kind of was intriguing when he was with the Cubs a couple years ago. I'm not sure if anything has really changed as far as like, I'm not comfortable putting him too high in holds rankings. Definitely someone to watch, and he's off to a really good start. And the swing and miss stuff's obviously incredible for now, but I would like to see a little bit more time with someone like him. I know he's faced the Red Sox this year, who have been swinging and missing at like everything, so that's helped a little bit, probably. But like, yeah, there hasn't been a big change in his stuff year after
I found it.
year. Yeah, what do you got? What's the difference? What's changed?
Location
Yeah,
on the
it's
sinker and
probably
curveball, incredible. The curveball, he was really good at getting downstairs last year, 81%, 90th percentile.
uh
95% this year, low location on the curveball. And then the sinker is where you really see, because last year he was throwing 25% high location sinkers. This
mm,
year, 4%. He is exclusively low. And I think that's really similar. It's a similar vibe to me, like how Zach Gallen pitches, where,
mm,
obviously he's doing sinker instead of a four seamer here. Little is, but Gallen, he puts that four seamer at the bottom of the zone and then
yeah,
just breaks off breaking pitches off of it. So everything comes in the same tunnel at the same location, and you don't know which way it's going to go. So I think with him, with the sinker and the cutter and the curveball,
mm,
you throw them all low in the zone and you don't know which one's coming. You can't tell them apart until the last second. And that's
yeah,
why I think he's getting more swings and misses, because nothing's changed. His stuff is still the same, but we're seeing a huge rise in swing and miss, because last year, 13%, 13.5%, not incredible, right? But now he's at 27% swing strike rate, which lends credence to a 40% strikeout rate. So I think Little is certainly figured something out with that low location.
yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, that tunneling where you're seeing three pitches that are going one, all different ways, and yeah, if it's all being located at near the bottom of the zone, then yeah, that can be really devastating, especially that cutter and sinker
Mm-hmm.
with the curveball mixed in too. Yeah, I mean, he's easily the top setup guy for Toronto right now. Outside, I mean, Yumi Garcia and then
Mm-hmm.
Little, but that's a pretty good trio they have at the back end right now with an unexpected guy. I would say Little's unexpected. So, oh, Robert Garcia got a save for the Rangers tonight. Oh,
Yeah, I had him. I have him
let's
somewhere.
go. I just glanced
Roster rooms.
over. Yeah.
That's fire. All right, but that's Brendan Little. Some credence led into the increased strikeout rate, and he still got the ability to get a lot of ground balls. We could see a breakout from Brendan Little this year.
Yeah.
Wrapping up the top 10, Orion Kirkring on Stuff Plus. Is there anybody else in the top 30 you'd like to discuss before we take a quick look at the PLV leaderboard?
Not really. I think someone who is also over here we'll talk about. Yeah, we'll move over to the PLV one. I mean, Tim
Okay.
Hill. What the Tim Hill's a weird one, but whatever. We'll see how long that works out. But yeah,
Yeah. All
we'll
right.
go to PLV.
Let's look at the PLV leaderboard. As previously mentioned, Griffin Jack's on top at 5.71, Mason Montgomery second at 5.70. Then we have a pretty significant drop down to 5.60 as we see Tanner Scott as the number 3 reliever according to PLV. He's gotten off to a good start this season. I mean, I don't know if there's much to say about Tanner Scott that hasn't already been said.
I I think the interesting thing is that look at his walk rate compared to where Scott was always a walk machine.
Oh no, it's
Yeah.
2023 all over again.
Yeah, right.
Oh, of
All of
course
a
he's on the
sudden,
Dodgers.
yeah, he's not walking anyone. It is
Oh
similar to,
man.
it was like that Jose Alvarado a couple years ago had that breakout where he's like,
Mm-hmm.
Jose Alvarado hasn't walked anyone in April. What is going on?
Yeah,
And it's, yeah, it's just, I mean, Scott's is trusting his stuff. It's his stuff's filthy. Just throw strikes and get
Yeah.
ahead of hitters, and it's working.
All right. Well, next on the leaderboard, much more surprising. I mean, after Jeremiah Estrada, we have Paul Sewald at 5.49, the number 5 reliever according to PLV.
PLV loves his fastball.
Yeah, is that what it is? He's just got a really good shape on that fastball, even though he throws sub 90 miles per hour. He's got a great horizontal or height adjusted VAA and good horizontal break on that one, producing a 96th percentile PLV on his 89 mile per hour fastball.
Yeah, I mean, it's him and Phil Maton, throwing those 90 mile per hour fastball four seamers up in the zone with the ridiculous, Hava or HAVAA, and it works. I mean, it gets hitters, that combo with his sweeper makes hitters look foolish. This is kind of the Paul Sewald we saw in Seattle. So, he's not going to close out games with Clase in front of him, but it's a nice, looks like it's a nice reclamation project for the Guardians, and he should be. I might like him over Hunter Gaddis, but I mean, Cade Smith's not going anywhere as the top setup man there. So Sewald should still work his way into some holds, so to a good amount of holds chances.
All right. Well, that's Paul Sewald, number 5 pitcher according to PLV. Number 6, Darren McCoffin. Where did he come from? He pitches for the Twins.
This is a weird one.
He is 29 years old. He has pitched in 3 previous major league seasons, none of which had an ERA below 5.40. Where is this that sweeper? The sweeper.
Right, the sweeper's at 5.8.
Oh no, he throws 89.
Yeah, he's not a hard throw. He's like their bulk. He's their bulk guy right now.
Okay.
I don't believe in this yet. I mean,
I think he's back in the minors too.
He might.
I think he was called up for like 3 days or something.
Let me see. I don't see him on the roster resource.
Because when I was going through the transactions, I saw him get called up because they sent down. Oh no, I'm mixing up somebody else. I'm mixing up him with Justin Hagenman. I have no idea why.
But no, he is down though. So we R.I.P. Darren McCoggin, and he was out of option. He was out of options, so he was just DFA'd. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
maybe interesting for someone to pick up.
Can pull off the Paul Sewald, Phil Maton. All right. Well, next is Brian Baker at 5.47, the number 6 pitcher according to 7. The number 7 pitcher according to PLV. Brian Baker, he was pretty good a few years ago, or at least, there was like back-to-back years where he was pretty reliable for the Orioles. But then last year, it felt like they just kept bringing guys in and he had options. So they had no problem just sending him down and sort of having him throw some innings in the minors. But he's displayed some really good stuff so far this year, 1.04 ERA and a 34.5% strikeout rate. That's Brian Baker.
He's nasty, and he was on the fence heading into the season as far as being on the Orioles. Like, he was like the last guy to make that bullpen. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, first of all, you let Jacob Webb go, you let Danny Coulomb go, and you're gonna like not even have Baker in your bullpen. But luckily, he's been in the bullpen for the whole season, and he's been outstanding for them. Let's see, 35% K rate. I mean, PLV obviously at 5.47. He throws hard and he has a really good slider that's come along. But the
fastball's improved a lot.
Look at the IVB. I know he's a guy, I've heard him on multiple podcasts. He's like a big not shred or drive line guy, but he's like one of those dudes who's always trying to get better and trying to improve his stuff, whatever he can do to make that happen. So but yeah, his four seam and slider and the changeup, I mean, he's like a legitimate closer option based off this repertoire. And I know like Felix Bautista's there, he's not going to be closing anytime soon in Baltimore, but it's closer-ish stuff from Brian Baker, and I just want to see him because they still love Sir Anthony Dominguez, so Baker only has one hold on the year, but I would love to see Baker work his way into a setup role and he's probably their second best reliever. I mean, I know Yennier Cano's been really good, but there's a difference between Cano. Cano's, more of a specialist and ground ball guy. But Baker's legit on 3 pitches that can get outs from against lefties or righties. So, yeah, Brian Baker just missed being in the top 10 in both PLV and Stuff Plus. He was 11th in Stuff Plus. So he's in a pretty good company right now.
Close. Wow. All right. Well, next we've got Emilio Pagan, who's at 5.46 according to PLV, the number 8 pitcher according to PLV amongst relievers. And I think that's notable considering he's got save opportunities. He is the clear-cut closer in Cincinnati right now. And so obviously we are somewhat concerned with Pagan. He's got a history of giving up home runs. He's playing in one of the most homer-friendly ballparks in baseball, and yet he's finding success. I think that's obviously a result of a low home run to fly ball rate at 7.7%, but apparently that's league average. So I know we shouldn't be, comparing somebody's home run to fly ball rate to league average, especially someone like Pagan in Cincinnati. But he's doing a good job
for him.
Yeah, keeping the ball in the ballpark. 0 BABIP, though. He hasn't allowed a ball in play. They just all go over the fence or strike out or walk.
Yeah, this might be a little bit of a glitch. His fastball is always graded out well with PLV. Gets really good IVB on it, and typically is able to locate it well up in the zone. But yeah, the home run issue is a different story with him, and it's definitely an issue. He let up those 2 today. He's let up 71 home runs since what was it? I tweeted it out earlier. 71 home runs since 2018. No. And the next highest reliever is Rafael Iglesias, who's let up 55. So there's a huge gap. And Iglesias has thrown 31 more innings than him too. So it's like,
wow.
He's just a home run machine.
Get him at the plate, man.
Right. So I remember when he signed in Cincinnati, we were both like, what? This doesn't make sense. Why are we getting this huge guy with lower than 30% ground ball rates who allowed so many home runs? Why is he signing in Cincinnati? That's like the worst place outside of Coors for him, So it's interesting that he's turned into their closer, and he had been pitching really well up until today. And even outside of the 2 home runs, I guess he pitched well today as well, but the home runs are going to be an issue, and that's just not from a closer. You can't have that type of risk. I feel like it's, I don't know what we haven't talked about Cincinnati. It's such a weird one. It's not going to be Alexis Diaz, but who's it going to be? Who knows? I mean, Graham Ashcraft's looked okay, and Santillan's looked okay, but no one's really taken that job yet. And I think Pagan's close, but just the home run rate's just not going to work for a whole season there.
Yeah, that ballpark is not conducive to somebody
once
like Emilio Pagan having success.
Yeah, once it gets warmer too, the ball's going to be flying out of there. Yeah, I mean, he struggled there last year. What? Nothing's really changed. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, number 9 on the list is Steven Okert at 5.45. I know I've told the story before, but for some reason, when Steven Okert made his debut in 2016 for the Giants, I remember telling my dad, I don't have a favorite baseball player. This is my new favorite baseball player. Little did I know I'd be talking about a podcast on him 10 years later. But yeah, Steven Okert in Houston now for the first time in his career. He was really good back in 2022 pitching for the Marlins. And obviously because he's my favorite player, I was rooting for him. But now after back-to-back underperforming years where he had ERAs well over 4, he's now in Houston and finding a lot of success.
Yeah, he's flashed this he's flashed this type of upside before. It's never really been consistent. Maybe Houston's unlocked something with him. Because the first 9 innings have been incredible. No walks, 38.7% K rate, 21.1% swinging strike. That's always been a thing. That's always what's interested me with Okert is his swinging strike rates have always been pretty good because his slider is just a huge whiff getter for him. But there's at least a little bit more consistent this season. So, again, a very, very thin bullpen in Houston. Maybe Okert, the fastball has always been an issue with him, and it's not like the fastball's improved much this year. That PLV is strictly from the slider, 5.98 PLV slider.
99th percentile.
It's crazy. Yeah. So and again, like I hate that. That's a field for like lefty relievers. That short porch and left is just like we'll see if Oker can get away with it. But yeah, I've been moving him up Holt's rankings because he's had this success in the past. Maybe it sticks this time in Houston. Houston's done some things to transform pitchers before. But, for the most part, it looks similar to what we've seen from Okert, just a little bit more consistency with locations. But that slider has always been something that's like intriguing you with them. Him and Andrew Chafin, like two lefty specialists who just really miss out on the the 3-batter rule because they would be carving up lefties left and right easily and having really good seasons if they could just face lefties.
Yeah. The RIP the Loogie.
Yeah.
But is there anybody else in the top 30 of the PLV you'd like to mention before we wrap things up?
We talked about Carlos Vargas a little bit. He's on here. Randy Rodriguez, I think he was on Stuff Plus too. I know you're a Giants fan. Randy Rodriguez has been one of maybe the Giants' best reliever this season so far. I talked about him a little bit 2 weeks ago. I really liked it. He's made some small changes, but they've worked out. That's a fun guy in dynasty leagues, deeper dynasty leagues. Randy Rodriguez is still only 25. Again, a lot of people in that Giant bullpen. I don't know if he gets into save chances anytime soon, but he's super talented. Alex Vesia, I think, was on both lists. That's Vesia is always that fastball always grades out really well for him. I think Jimmy Garcia might have been on both lists too. That's another guy.
Nice.
Yeah, he looks absolutely electric for Toronto. AJ Puck was at the end of both lists, but he's still on them. He's still there. Louis Varland on here. I mean, I talked about it. I just really love Louis Varland as a reliever. Super fun mix. And yeah, like we talk about Durant. I mean, if Varland can figure it out as a reliever, that mix between Varland, Durant, and Jax is super. I mean, there's so many good trios right now and duos and bullpens, but that trio could be really could be up there as one of the best if Varland can put it together. All right.
Well, I think we ran through about as many names as we can in one podcast. We hit on a lot of different guys, so I hope we hit the listeners' fill for that one. But that'll do it for this episode of In the Pen. Rick, why don't you go ahead and plug your social media and anything else you're working on?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and Blue Sky at I am Rick Graham. And as usual, just working on save plus holds ranks, hold up, closing time. Let's see what closing time comes out on Tuesday. Hold up comes out on Thursday. Save plus holds comes out on Friday. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. And you can follow me on Twitter at Jake Crumpler. You can follow the pod at In the Pen Pod. You can find all of my work at crumplerbaseball.com. Definitely need to update that website. It's been a while, but still got links to all my stuff there. You can catch me on the First Pitch podcast recording live on Sunday through Wednesday nights. You can catch those recorded in the morning as well. Make sure to tune in to In the Pen next week. We'll talk to you all then.